What if the most alien place we know is not in space? What if it is right here on Earth, hidden under nearly 7 miles of ocean? The Mariana Trench is the deepest known part of Earth's oceans. At its deepest point, called Challenger Deep, the seafloor drops so far down that Mount Everest could fit inside it and still be covered by water. That idea alone is hard to imagine. But what truly terrifies scientists is not just the depth, it is what that depth does. Down there, sunlight does not exist. The water is near freezing. The pressure is so extreme it can crush most machines. Communication is difficult. Rescue is almost impossible, and every expedition feels like sending a tiny metal shell into another world. The Mariana Trench is not terrifying because it is full of monsters. It is terrifying because it reminds us how little control we have when Earth becomes extreme. To understand why, we have to begin with pressure. At sea level, we live under 1 atmosphere of pressure. We do not feel it because our bodies are built for it. But underwater, pressure increases quickly. The deeper you go, the more water is stacked above you. At the bottom of the Mariana Trench, the pressure is more than 1,000 times greater than at the surface. That is not just uncomfortable, that is destructive. It can collapse air-filled spaces, damage equipment, bend materials, and expose the smallest weakness in any design. A submarine going to ordinary depths is already an engineering challenge. A vehicle going to Challenger Deep needs to survive a world where a tiny flaw can become fatal. That is why deep-sea vehicles are often shaped like spheres or reinforced capsules. They are built not for speed or comfort, but for survival. The trench does not forgive mistakes, and that is part of the fear. In space, if something goes wrong, you are surrounded by vacuum. In the deep trench, if something goes wrong, you are surrounded by crushing weight from every direction. There is no quick escape. There is no easy repair. There is no sunlight above you, only miles of black water. And that brings us to the second reason the trench is so unsettling. Darkness. Sunlight can only travel so far into the ocean. After a few hundred meters, the bright blue world disappears. Go deeper, and the ocean becomes twilight. Deeper still, and it becomes absolute black. The Mariana Trench sits far below the reach of the sun. That means no plants, no normal photosynthesis, no familiar food chain based on sunlight. For a long time, people assumed the deep sea was almost empty. How could anything live there? No light, little food, cold water, crushing pressure, but life did not disappear. It adapted. Scientists have found organisms in the deep ocean that survive in ways that seem almost impossible. Some feed on organic material drifting down from above. Some live around chemical-rich environments. Some are slow, soft, pale, strange, and perfectly suited to a place humans can barely visit. This is one of the most fascinating parts of the trench. It is terrifying, but it is also alive. And that life challenges our assumptions. Because if life can survive there, under pressure that would destroy us instantly, then life may be more flexible than we thought. It also raises questions about where life could exist beyond Earth. If organisms can survive in dark, high-pressure environments in our ocean, maybe life could exist under the ice of distant moons, in oceans we have never touched. That is why the Mariana Trench is not just an ocean mystery. It is a clue about life itself. But studying that clue is incredibly difficult. The trench is remote, it is deep, it is expensive to reach. Every mission needs specialized vessels, instruments, pressure-resistant equipment, and careful planning. Even when scientists send robots down, the journey takes time. The machines must descend through miles of water before they reach the bottom. Then they have limited power, limited visibility, and limited movement. Imagine trying to study a forest through a keyhole in total darkness, while your camera is slowly being squeezed by a mountain of water. That is deep-sea science. Every sample matters, every video frame matters, every sensor reading matters, because getting anything back from the trench is a victory. This is another reason it still terrifies scientists. The trench is not just unknown because we ignored it. It is unknown because the ocean makes knowledge hard to collect. Humans have mapped planets and moons, but the deepest parts of our own ocean remain difficult to observe directly. The seafloor is not like a city street you can walk through with a camera. It is dark, cold, dangerous, and constantly hostile to our tools. And the unknown leaves room for imagination. People love to imagine giant hidden creatures in the trench, ancient sharks, sea monsters, things too large to explain. Most of those ideas are exaggerated. The real trench is probably not hiding movie monsters. But the truth is still strange enough. There are animals down there that look unreal because they evolved for a world we almost never see. There are microbes living under extreme conditions. There are geological processes shaping the seafloor. There may be ecosystems we have barely documented. The fear comes from uncertainty, not knowing exactly what is there, not knowing how much life we have missed, not knowing how deep human pollution has already reached. That last part is important. The Mariana Trench feels remote, untouched, and separate from human life, but it is not completely separate. Scientists have found evidence that human-made pollution can reach even the deepest ocean environments. Plastic waste and chemical contamination remind us that even the most distant places on Earth are connected to us. That is disturbing, because if pollution can reach the deepest trench, then there may be no truly untouched place left. The trench is terrifying not only because it is powerful, but because it reflects us back to ourselves. It shows us the limits of exploration. It shows us the reach of human impact. And it shows us that Earth still contains worlds we do not fully understand. There's also something psychological about the deep ocean. Humans are visual creatures. We like horizons, sunlight, open space, and solid ground. The Mariana Trench offers none of that. It is darkness below darkness. No landmarks, no air, no warmth, no easy sense of direction. Just pressure, silence, and distance. When scientists explore it, they are not simply looking at data. They are confronting an environment where humans do not belong without machines. That creates a special kind of respect. Maybe even fear. Not fear like panic. Fear like humility. The kind of fear that says, this place is bigger than us. And in science, that kind of fear can be useful. It makes people careful. It makes engineers test everything twice. It makes researchers question easy answers. It reminds us that discovery is not always comfortable. Sometimes knowledge requires sending instruments into places that feel impossible. The Mariana Trench still terrifies scientists because it is not fully conquered. We have reached it. We have filmed parts of it. We have sampled it, but we have not mastered it. There is a difference. Standing on the edge of a mountain does not mean you understand the mountain. Touching the bottom of the trench does not mean you understand the deep ocean. The trench remains a frontier, not because it is far away in space, but because it is hidden beneath a weight we can barely imagine. And maybe that is why it holds our attention. It is proof that Earth is still mysterious. Even in an age of satellites, maps, cameras, and global communication, there are places on this planet that resist us. Places where every visit is difficult. Places where life looks unfamiliar. Places where one mistake can destroy a machine. Places where the darkness is not empty, but unknown. So why does the Mariana Trench still terrify scientists? Because it is deep enough to crush our technology, dark enough to erase our senses, remote enough to humble our confidence,